Many people hate me for many reasons. Yes, it's going to be one of those videos. As you can see, I'm obviously provoking the same people who make such ridiculous criticisms of me, because essentially they have no style. I do. Because I'm a bad person, or I'm somehow a capitalist, because when I drink, I want to drink flavor. I would rather have a flavorful cognac rather than beer. There's nothing wrong with beer. I just prefer the taste of liquor to beer. Because it's flavor. And I prefer flavor. The same reason why I choose cigars over cigarettes, because I choose flavor instead of just like a ridiculous cancer-causing stick. Now, let me deal with some of these really stupid ideas about me supposedly being an elitist. Because, of course, nothing screams elitist like living in a two-bedroom apartment that you're sharing with somebody else, because that's totally elitist, right? That totally screams capitalist class. You know what else is elitist? Working at a gas station, part-time, for minimum wage. Well, that just screams elitism. Because nothing screams elitism like being the guy who has to clean the toilet at a gas station. That is not fun, and it sucks. It is certainly no elitist position. But of course, somehow, I'm still an elitist. Even my beautiful 94 Volkswagen Golf, as I was accused on Twitter of bragging about my spectacular new car. Because, of course, nothing screams elitism and being a capitalist like having a 20-year-old car, even though Volkswagen literally means people's car, and was actually invented by the Nazis. The Volkswagen was. I'm surprised nobody actually brought that up. Okay, now on to this subject of me being a capitalist. I enter into a contract with YouTube where they decide to put ads on my videos and give me a percentage of the revenue. So I produce the content, do the work, and they put the ads. Yet somehow in this position I'm made out to be YouTube. I'm the person who owns YouTube and is doing everything it is that YouTube does, even though I'm the one actually doing the work by putting out the videos. Now this is an amicable arrangement. I'm okay with it. YouTube's okay with it. But somehow, I'm the capitalist, even though I own my own means of production, like my computer, my camera, my microphone, my 12-year-old suit that I bought as a teenager that my mom bought for me for a funeral, which is of course still elitist. But somehow I'm the capitalist. And of course, if you're a capitalist, Marx therefore automatically said you are not allowed to make money. Because that's what capital was written for, right? To say that it's wrong to make money, to receive profit. Except that that's not what it says. Capital explains the source of exploitation, the source of wealth, understanding where money came from, how it functions, what capitalism is. It doesn't actually say anywhere in it that, profit is bad. It says exploitation is bad, and then goes on to say where what exploitation exactly is, and why it's wrong, and how it comes from people working for the capitalist. But somehow I'm still a capitalist, even though I'm not exploiting anybody. And yet somehow, if I take my blog posts and turn them into an ebook and sell them for $2.10, which I only actually receive $1 from them, I'm somehow a capitalist. Which means everyone who's ever published a book by going to a publisher who sells the book and makes profit off of the person's book, the author is still a capitalist. It's a vague notion, but exactly what exploitation is taking place? They're profiting off of the work that I did. But I entered into a contract to allow that because, well, I consented to it. Now, the books literally don't have to be purchased because you can go to the blog and get whatever it is for free. You don't have to actually buy the book. The ebook is there just to make it into a PDF, to make it easier for you to read on the go, which you don't have to do, which there is no necessity for anyone to do. It's like how I'm exploiting my viewers by putting ads on the video, which makes no sense whatsoever. Because obviously this person has no idea what the Marxist concept of exploitation actually is, and that it is taking someone's necessity, like they have to work in order to receive an income, in order to be able to live, and turning that into a way of making profit off of them. Taking what they have to do and what everybody has to do in order to survive. You see, here's the thing. You don't have to watch my videos. It's not a necessity to watch my videos. You don't have to, especially if you hate me, and then you still watch them for some reason. It would be exploitation if I owned where they work, if the only way they could receive an income is by watching my videos. Then it would be exploitation because they have to do it. There's no coercive arm that forces people to watch my videos. Of course, this haters just don't get. They would rather just simply mindlessly attack me by not having a fucking clue what Marxist economics is, or what even Marxist social theory even is. But that's par for the course for right-wingers. You don't have to actually know Marx. You can just take your own lie about what Marx says and then accuse me of not following it. So accuse me of following something that I didn't pledge to follow. Like accusing a Muslim of not doing what it is in the Bible. Well, they're not Christian. They're not obligated to. I do what Marx says, so I follow what Marx said. You changing what Marx said to mean something else doesn't make me a hypocrite. Your perception, incorrect perception, of what Marx said doesn't make me a hypocrite for not following. I'm following what Marx said. That exploitation is wrong, not making profit, because I still have to make profit no matter what. I still have to go into my minimum wage job in order to have a place to live and food to eat. You have to submit to employment in order to survive. I've just managed to avoid submitting fully into employment by managing to profit from my own labor. But I'm not carrying out exploitation. I don't get what it is that this stupid right wing doesn't understand about that. It comes down to this. They're haters. And hate, like everything else, leads to irrational actions and irrational opinions. White supremacists hate people out of complete blithering ignorance. It's the same thing. Hate leads to complete blithering ignorance. If you hate me, you hate Marxism, you're obviously going to be completely blitheringly ignorant of what Marxism is, its stated goals, what it wants to do, and what its definition of exploitation is. But that is par for the course for the right wing, and what it is that I absolutely expect out of them. What I would love to see is someone actually quote something from Capital that actually demonstrates how I'm supposedly doing something wrong. Now, obviously, this can't be done because, well, I'm not actually doing anything wrong. And it doesn't make any sense to call me a hypocrite for not actually going against what it is that I believe in. But here's a criticism I could make. Now, this is a joke, obviously. For people who support capitalism so much and attack me, I notice that they're not capitalists. What's the deal with supporting capitalism when you're not even actually a capitalist? Huh. What a bunch of hypocrites. Well, hypocrisy is a thing that we do see from the right wing quite a bit. But the point of this video was to be, well, relatively speaking, a troll video, because I cannot wait until they go nuts in the comment section. Oh my God, it's Hennessy. A drink purchased 1.5 times a year is elitist. Well, pushing this belief that somehow I drink it like every day, like beer. That's like dumb. Oh, and by the way, Hennessy is largely favored by black people. So you could accuse me of wanting to be black as well. Because Tupac loved Hennessy. It's not just Kim Jong-il. Tupac loved it too. So you could accuse me of trying to be Tupac or something. And although I don't smoke every day, I smoke maybe 2, sometimes 3 cigars a week. It therefore means that I smoke Cuban cigars all the time. And that's really elitist. Even though some Cuban cigars are as little as $3 each, which would be $9 a week, which would be still less than a single pack of most cigarettes. I mean, cigarettes where I am, because that's where I'm comparing it from, are anywhere from $7.33 to like $12. So $9, like 10, 15 for, say, De Maurier or Peter Jackson, whatever, depending on where you live. So somehow it's equivalent to that. Even if a regular smoker smokes a pack a day, which is like $9 a day, somehow my $9 a week is somehow elitist. Based on a perception of Cuban cigars themselves, not actually the amount of money spent on them or its consumption or anything like that. It's just based on the actual perception of the product itself. You realize there's no huge mystique around Cuban cigars here in Canada because we just go to the store and buy them. Like, you can literally just go to a corner store and get them. But yet, in the States, there's this big mystique over them, and they're so taboo because they're against the law, which, don't even get me started on the friggin' Cuban embargo. If you don't like me, that's fine. I don't care. You don't fucking mean anything to me anyway. But if you're going to criticize me, at least learn some goddamn honesty. And learn what a non sequitur is, too. And if you are going to make an argument against me, try to actually deal with anything that I actually said, any argument that I actually made. And the one thing that I find is very hard for right-wingers on YouTube, back up your claim with something, particularly data. I'm a big fan of data. I'm a big fan of sources, too. And despite all the attacks that will inevitably be made against me, against my appearance, because my 12-year-old suit that was bought for a funeral when I was a teenager is so elitist, and the Cuban cigars, which don't cost very much. This is not one of the $3 ones, by the way. And drinking Hennessy once a month. Always ignore things like critique of Jacob Spinney's video on exploitation. Ignore the hour-long masterpieces against on the Cultural Revolution, on the supposed hundreds of millions of people killed by Mao. Ignore those videos, or my debunking of Peter Pettifree on the blog. Ignore these. Ignore the works involving, like thinking, like you'd actually have to go into them, check the sources, and try to formulate some kind of argument against what I said and try to show how it was somehow factually incorrect. But you are haters, which means you're inherently based on ignorance anyway. You're not going to do that. And be sure to reply with blanket statements of, you are this and this and this, with nothing backing it up whatsoever. Thank you for your time, and thank you for letting me troll you. Good night.